We have exported our tea, our coffee, our livestock, our minerals, our cotton, our hides and skin, and even our fish in raw form, only to import them at a premium as finished products. This model has denied our farmers, workers, entrepreneurs the full value of their hard work and ingenuity. That era must come to an end. Through our special economic zones, county aggregation industrial parks, and common user facilities, such as the one recently launched in Vipingo, and the ones we are launching soon in Dongo Kundu and Naivasha, we are determined to add value to every product, to create jobs for our people, and to raise incomes for farmers, and to ensure that more wealth stays and more value stays in Kenya. Aidha, tunajenga maeneo maalum ya viwanda vya kukusanya, kutayarisha na kuongezea dhamana kwa mazao yetu ama county aggregation and industrial parks katika county zote 47. Hivi ndivyo tutakavyokuwa vituo vya wakulima kupeleka mazao yao, kupata hifadhi ya baridi, mahala ya kisasa na mitambo ya kuongezea dhamani, na kuunganishwa moja kwa moja na masoko ya ndani na masoko ya kimataifa. Pia tukipunguza hasara ya mavuno baada ya mavuno, kuondoa madalali wanyonya wakulima, yaani brokers na cartels na watu wengine huko katikati, kupunguza gharama ya usafirishaji na kuhakikisha kwamba wakulima wanapata malipo bora. Katika elimu, tunatekeleza mfumo mpya wa ufadhili unaolenga wanafunzi kwa elimu ya juu, na tuko njiani kuajiri walimu 1,100 zaidi ili kulinda mustakabali wa watoto wetu. Katika afya, zaidi ya Wakenya milioni 26.5 wamesajiliwa chini ya Social Health Authority, wakihakikishiwa huduma bora na nafuu. Mageuzi haya ni hatua za kisia, ni mpango makusudi na shupavu kwa kuunda mpya uchumi na jamii ya taifa letu la Kenya. Tunadhihirisha ukubwa wa maeneo yetu, kina cha dhamira yetu na hakika ya hatima yetu kama taifa linaloinuka. The outcomes we have achieved so far affirm a simple truth. Kenya has never lacked resources or talent or ideas. What we lacked was steadfast focus, courage of conviction, and bold leadership to rise above mediocrity and pursue excellence. I have made a deliberate and intentional choice not to settle for the ordinary. And I invite you, fellow Kenyans, to make the same choice. Our destiny is not average. It is extraordinary. That excellence is not a mere dream. It is real, it is possible, and it is within our reach. As I speak on matters agriculture, and the minister is here with his team, much as we have achieved what we have achieved, we have managed to stabilize the agricultural sector. We have digitized the whole space, registered 7.1 million farmers. Now we have reliable data to run our agricultural policies and to create and to invent and to innovate every intervention that is going to boost our agricultural productivity. We have also made available resources for all inputs, from fertilizer to seeds and all the way to pesticides. We have also removed brokers, cartels, and people who undermine farmer prices from our space. We have stabilized our production. We are seeing increases in food production, in maize, in wheat, in tea, in coffee, and in all the other products. But ladies and gentlemen, that is not enough. We have just arrived at the base. It is now necessary for us to take the next step and transform our agriculture so that we can reduce any imports of food into Kenya. For your information, ladies and gentlemen, we still import up to 400 billion worth of food products into Kenya. Edible oil, rice, wheat, and other products into our country. And these are products we can produce in Kenya. We can produce enough rice. We can do wheat. We can produce enough maize. We can produce enough sugar. We can produce enough edible oil in the Republic of Kenya. And therefore, our next phase, and that is why I am saying we must stop working with the ordinary. We must stop working with the usual. We must not make peace with what is average. We now must up our game in the agricultural sector. We must move our agriculture to the next level. And the next level involves matters irrigation. I have already asked the Ministry of Water to work with the Ministry of Agriculture in identifying at least between 30 and 40 mega dams, because irrigation is going to be the next frontier for us to be able to achieve enough food security for us not to import anything into the Republic of Kenya. I have also asked the ministry to begin to think about how we add value. I have said Kenya cannot continue to be an exporter of raw materials into other countries. I must thank other countries who are working with us. I was in China earlier this year, and the Chinese market is now available to Kenya. China has removed all the tariffs on our agricultural products, on tea, on coffee, on macadamia, on avocado, and all the other products. Just last week in the United States government has agreed to the extension of AGOA that equally gives us duty-free and quota-free access to the American market. You know very well that last year we negotiated and we became the only East African country that signed economic partnership agreement, our economic partnership agreement with the EU, 26 countries in Europe. Now we have the European market, we have the American market, we have the Chinese market. It is now up to us to produce the necessary products, to add value to the necessary products that we produce in Kenya so that we can access those markets. We can create value here at home, create jobs here at home, make our farmers earn more, and that is why we are investing in the county aggregation and industrial parks so that they become aggregation centers for agricultural produce across the country. It is the reason why I've just mentioned here, we are having another 6 special economic zones, from Vipingo to Dongokundu to Naivasha to Sagana to Thika to Busia to Eldoret, and another 3 that we are working on to make sure that we create the ecosystem that is going to support our value addition and agro-processing, all the products that we produce, so that we can not only create jobs, we can also create value, create wealth, and sell finished products to the markets we have negotiated globally, whether it is in China, or it is in the United States, or it is in Europe, and of course, in the African continent, using the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. We have that opportunity available to us. What is remaining is us. And I want to ask leaders that the difference between the countries that have succeeded, the countries that were with Kenya a few years ago, and I remember saying yesterday, South Korea was exactly like Kenya in 1963. Their GDP per capita was 79. Kenya's was 80. Today, the per capita of South Korea is 20 times that of Kenya. Yet they were like us. They are an agricultural country like us. They do not have minerals like us. They had the same education with us. The difference, good people, is not that the South Koreans are different from Kenya. The difference is leadership. It is us, the leaders, who must take the decisions that will move Kenya to the next level. And I am persuaded beyond any reasonable doubt that we can change this country in our lifetime if we make the right decisions. And it is time, ladies and gentlemen, I must tell every leader in Kenya, from our MCAs to our members of parliament, to our governors, and everybody in between, our PSS and ministers, it is time for Kenya to move to the next level, and we must up our game. We must stop working with the ordinary. We must stop making peace with mediocrity. We must stop working with the simple, and we must stop working with the average. We must begin to think about transformation. We must work with the unusual. We must work with the bold and innovative and creative. That is how we are going to achieve the extraordinary and move our country to the next level. I must say this repeatedly because that is what our country deserves at this point in time. I must congratulate the leaders who are working together with us to make sure that we push the transformation of our country. There is now evidence everywhere that the decisions that we have made over the last 3 years are giving us results. Housing that has been burning for many years, today we are building 170,000 houses across Kenya. They are visible. Even the naysayers, they cannot say anything anymore because there is evidence that that is working. Our social health authority is working. That is why 26 million Kenyans are registered on that platform. Our agricultural transformation is working. It may have been difficult, it may have been complicated, but that is what it takes to transform a nation. And therefore I must say, to us the leaders, the opportunity for Kenya to be in the first world is now. The opportunity is for us to take up our responsibility, fashion what will take Kenya to the next level, work on it as though our lives depend on it, and make sure we take Kenya to the next level. I am persuaded that that is how Kenya is going to move to the next level. And I am persuaded that Kenya has what it takes: the men and women, the resources, the ideas, the policies, the young people of our nation. The restlessness sometimes you see in our young people, the impatience that you see in our young people is because they are impatient with the ordinary. They are tired of the usual, of the average. They want us to up our game because there is great potential in our nation. And none other than our young people know that. And that is why we must up our game as leaders and as Kenyans. And with those remarks, it's now my distinct honor and privilege to officially declare the 2025 Nairobi International Trade Fair open. I thank you, and God bless you.